All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans Podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy. With me is Kate, and Nick should be joining us real soon. So tonight we are covering something that has been highly requested from the very beginning of this podcast show, and so we're covering a movie that has been that came out almost 20 years ago now, 2004, and it's a crime horror thriller called Saw, and I got it. It definitely has its place in history in horror because it had so much going for it from the beginning. Let me just catch up these comments. Hey, Thomas, good to see you. Hey, Santi, nice to see you on here. And
Hi,
let's see.
Santi.
Yep.
I can't believe it was 2004 because I remember in 2004 when it came out, it was groundbreaking. Like everybody was talking about it because it's such a simple concept, isn't it? But
It is.
the whole film was just terrifying because you kind of put yourself in the place of the guys, and yeah, can you imagine? It's terrifying.
Oh, I know. I want to play a game. Oh. Make your choice. Oh yeah, that's a lot. That's the biggest line of the movie. Live or die, make your choice. Because all of Jigsaw's games are. Oh, here. Hey, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Sorry, a little late. I had to make me dinner.
No. Oh, it's okay.
No worries.
Yeah.
What's for dinner?
Well, I just made a burger, bacon cheeseburger.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Nice.
I'm jealous.
I had a London broil steak. Very last thing I had to cook on my grill before my condo had me get it off my balcony.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing that in the first place.
Yeah, new policy.
What out on your balcony? I shit you not, about 20 years ago, I lived like in this apartment complex with my mom, not too far away from these brand new buildings that just got put up. There's like probably about 200 apartment units, right? They all face the interstate in Madison. Some moron decided to grill out and have a party and put the grill on his balcony. And basically what just got put up, brand new apartments, less than a year old, they all got burned down from the ones because he went into the party and ignored the grill.
No.
Well, that's what happens when he's careless. Me, I paid close attention to that thing every single time.
You have to.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, Nikki?
Hi, Nikki.
Hey,
How are you?
Hey.
Hi.
I'm good. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Don.
Hey, so tonight we're covering something that I remember from childhood. I was just 12 when this movie came out in 2004. Yep.
Ooh,
That's the
original.
entire collection. There's seven unrated movies in this collection.
Here's eight on Blu-ray.
So there's 10, right?
Nice.
Yeah, there's 10 total. I don't have Spiral. I don't have Saw 10. Yeah, there's one more being made as we speak. Hey, Billy.
Hi, Billy.
You want to play a
Hey,
game? we're gonna get the S that all night, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Famous quote.
I would love to play a game actually. Let's see. The Last of Us is my favorite, but also I love Hogwarts Legacy, which Kate gave me for my birthday. So, let's see. Do I want to play a game? It's very. I'm just wondering which game. It's so hard to decide.
Hogwarts, all the way.
Yes, that's right. There is an 11th movie in the works, and
What?
and let's see. Saw 10. The last one was like a inter sequel. It takes place between the events of Saw 1 and Saw 2.
Right. I see.
Yes. So here, just like remind everybody. Let me just go ahead and play the trailer that was released back in 2004.
Yeah, let's see the trailer.
Yep, a trailer that I remember all too well from even after 20 years.
I was 18.
Yep. Here, wait. Let me do this. Let me do this right. Yeah, let me do this right. I gotta mute everybody. Sorry.
Someone there? I can hear you. Who is that? Who's in there?
Jigsaw killer.
Paul, find the path with a razor wire.
Technically speaking, he's not really a murderer. He never killed anyone.
Dr. Gordon, your aim in this game is to kill Adam. If you do not, then Diana will die.
He finds ways for his victims to kill themselves.
I'm sick of people who don't appreciate their blessings. I've given you a life purpose.
Looks like our friend Jigsaw likes to book himself front row seats to his own sick games.
He doesn't want us to cut through our chains. He wants us to cut through our feet.
Most people are so ungrateful to be alive. Not anymore.
You are a drug addict. Do you think that is why he picked you?
He helped me.
Don't believe Adam's lies.
Live or die. Make your choice.
Oh, still as chilling as I remember it 20 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know, I just watched that for the first time today.
What did you
Hey,
think,
Dead
Joe?
Souls.
What did you think?
Hi, Dead Souls.
You know, I never picked up any of these horror movies because the wife doesn't like horror, and I've been married to her for 14 years, been together 18 plus, you know. So I don't get a chance to watch and feed my horror fetish, you know. But
Gotcha.
I borrowed this from a friend. He's not going to get back till I watch all 7, or what is it? Yes, all 7 that are on here.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So
that's
I
good.
was, I mean, for a newer movie, they really had some imagination and kept me guessing the whole time. I was wrong more than once,
Oh,
you know,
oh,
trying
yes.
to figure that out.
Yes, I just love how it's a horror film technically, but it's also a crime thriller. It has like some twists to it, and oh man, like it really makes you want. Really makes you want to. Even though it is disturbing, it's pretty. It can be gut wrenching at times, but it does make you want to keep watching to find out who's behind all this. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just a big shout out to Tom because I know his son's not very well, so sending
Oh yes,
him lots
yes.
of
Thoughts and prayers for his son who is currently going into surgery. Hope that goes well.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he recovers swiftly. Yes. Oh, here. Let me see. Don, the debuts of yes, that is true. It's director's debut of James Lee Wannell, who Lee Wannell played Adam who was one of the 2 guys in the bathroom. Yeah, that was his debut.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're both Australian.
Yeah. So, yeah, you did you see you watched Saw, Nikki, right?
Yes, I have. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
My first horror movie back in 2004. I was 18.
Oh, okay. I was just 12 and saw it because a friend of mine had a friend of mine had a bootleg of it and showed everybody. Not gonna say who. Not saying who.
Nick.
You saw no, it wasn't Nick. No.
Oh,
No, Nick would never do something like that. No, this is someone else.
Okay, yep. They
You have
actually
to- you have to know some pretty dark people. They get a bootleg copy of a movie, and I don't think Nick would know those type of people, but I do.
No, I mean this was the early 2000s when bootlegging was a lot more common, like with discs.
yeah.
You know.
Well, it was also a lot more common if you go even further back because you had all the file sharing programs. You know, you want a bootleg copy of Windows, I get it, you know.
It's funny because people say that Lee's character, that Adam should have dated the other guy. Oh, Lawrence. Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah,
They
pretty
actually
sure
have a
Lawrence-
place that sorry, you go, Dom.
Yeah, no. Lawrence was like had a wife and a daughter in this, and who were being held hostage by Jigsaw, like in order to motivate Lawrence further into killing Adam. Like this whole thing was all a sick game to him, and this was just one of many victims that Jigsaw had put to the test. Like there was one part of the film where there was a guy who, because Jigsaw always targets people who are like morally corrupt, like as far as like having like these like not valuing life. Like he targeted a man previously in this film who had who had cut his own wrists, so he put him inside of a maze that was covered in razor wire, saying they had like telling him that the irony is that if you want to live, you have to cut yourself again, and so put him through a maze where he has to crawl through razor wire, and he didn't survive. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just the trailer. Can I still show the short film? I think so. I was able to do a reaction video to that short film a few years back, so maybe they won't have an issue with it. Isn't Jigsaw dead, or am I behind? Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Let's not get into that because spoilers for those who haven't seen it. But everything okay from your end, Kate, or is I think you're muted.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
I'm just on mute sometimes because like there's some really loud
Daughter.
people in this building.
Okay.
But all good.
No worries. Yeah, I think it will. You know what? Maybe I should show the short film just to give you an idea. Just to give you guys an idea.
That one goofy little that one goofy little actor that plays Zepp Hendel or whatever, or Jigsaw, depending on how you look at him.
Yeah.
It seems like he's always played that type of role because he's from a TV series that I got hooked on a long time ago, and he was very deceptive, very devious then. And he was from Lost. He was from
I know
TV series Lost, and I recognized him, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
What's the short film then? Is it like a summary of?
Yes. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, Lee Weinel. He was also like Saw was the first of a big, just the start of a big career for both Lee Weinel and James Wan, who they would go on to create the Insidious franchise. Who let's see, Lee Weinel was in it. He played Specs in that one of the two assistants for what was her what was her name? For the psychic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Lorraine Warren.
Yes, Lorraine. No, Lorraine Warren. No, that's somebody else. That's from The Conjuring. Yeah, which James Wan also directed.
What's up?
Hey Nick.
Hi Nick.
Glad you're here. Yes, they're coming out with another one, Saw 11, which I just found out they got delayed another year.
Oh man.
They actually have a
Anyway,
place
sorry,
where
I
you
was
can
running a
visit.
few minutes late. I was actually. Oh, sorry.
Go, Nick. It's okay.
Yeah, no,
Go,
I was
Nick.
saying sorry I was running late because I finally have had the opportunity of trying to clean up my room / office. So I was finishing up the windows, and it took a lot longer than expected, but I got it finished so I could take a break.
Is it just me, or is Nick and is like Nick's camera and his speech not synced?
Wait, what?
I think so.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think there's like a delay.
There is.
Hold on.
Oh, hey Leon.
Hi Leo.
Oh, here. Oh yes, there. I believe somebody showed me years ago that there was this YouTube series called Annoying Orange, and there were one or two videos where they parodied Saw. So, it's like a show that show of all things like parodied that.
All right, is it better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. And Nick, I think you're just in time. I was just about to show the original 2003 short film, which led to the creation of the Saw franchise, which Leigh Whannell and James Wan were responsible for. I did a reaction to this a few years ago. I'm hoping that, the way I remember it, I'm hoping this is not going to be too graphic to show, but yeah, but let's do it anyway.
Viewers beware.
It's not copyright or anything, right?
I don't believe so. If it is, I'm sure the worst case scenario, they'll have me cut that clip out. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it's whatever. All right, let me just mute everyone, and I'll show that it's about 10 minutes long, by the way. So it's a short film.
All righty.
Now presenting the short film that led to one of the biggest horror franchises.
Tell me what happened, David. In detail.
Those photos don't have enough detail in them.
I want to hear it from you in your words from the beginning.
I just finished my shift at the hospital. I was going home.
David, put that out.
I am. They're coming with me, and I'm on my way out.
They kill you, you know.
Yeah, living's overrated. After that, nothing.
What do you do at the hospital?
I'm a glorified janitor. I clean up after sick people.
Do you have any enemies there?
Spies have enemies. I'm an orderly.
So you'd have no clue why anyone would want to do this to you?
No. I'm nothing there. I blend into the walls. I don't know why. Whoever did this to me picked me. But they did.
What do you remember next?
Waking up.
Hello, David. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. I'll give you a demonstration of what happens if you lose. The device you are wearing is hooked into your upper and lower jaws. When the timer in the back goes off, your mouth will be ripped permanently open. Think of it like a reverse bear trap. I'll show you. There is only one key to open the device. It is in the stomach of your dead cellmate. Look around, David. Know that I'm not lying. Live or die. Make your choice.
It says here in the report that after the timer started, that's when you saw the body. Paralysis. He wasn't dead, he just couldn't move. You cut open someone that was still breathing.
I know.
What happened after you found the key?
Congratulations, David. You are still alive. Most people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you. Not anymore.
Are you grateful, David?
Wow.
Well, that was interesting.
Yep, sure was.
What's up, Jill?
Hey, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Hey, Jill. I'm trying to unmute the mic. Oh, here. Oh, she muted herself.
Pickle Tom. He's in the chat.
Pickle Nick.
So yeah, that's how Saul was created.
Wow.
And several things were changed because obviously, like with Lee Whannell's character was like switched with Lee Whannell was like switched with Shawnee Smith, who plays Amanda, who becomes a staple of the franchise. And let's see, let me just show a picture of of her, and when she was in Saw. Hang on.
I got one other thing to say about that. Speaking of that bear trap.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, and when she was offered the role, she like originally was like didn't really want to because she didn't really like horror films, which is weird because I remember her from this one other horror film. Hang on, one of my favorite horror remakes, and that is The Blob.
The Blob.
They remade The Blob.
Right.
Are you serious?
That's her.
Yeah, it's actually good. Well,
I know
actually, hold on,
crazy.
Joe. Oh, hold on. Well, hold on, Joe. I mean, this remake of The Blob, I actually do enjoy. I mean, this had amazing effects. So, like, there was several things that they actually improved on. So, as far as remakes go, this one actually did a good job.
I have to check it out.
So
Can we
I'm
go,
just
can
reading
we
what
go
Santi
back
just
to
wrote.
that? Could we go back to that picture, like you just showed of the blob? Because doesn't the guy on the left look like Jeremy?
Yes.
Like,
It's actually,
serious? That's
he kind of does.
Jeremy.
Oh my god. It kind of does.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's actually Kevin Dillon, who is
Yeah.
and if that sounds familiar, his brother is Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Jeremy, if you
Okay,
watch
now
it.
that
Outsiders.
Kate, now that you said that, I'm not going to be able to get that image of Jeremy out of my head now.
Yep, Jeremy
Thanks,
was
Doug.
Brian. Yep, Jeremy was Brian Flagg in The Blob, apparently.
I remember that now.
Elvis.
And that one actress that played Allison in the Saw, the one that played Allison in the Saw, I keep mistaking her for Julia Roberts. Monica Porter.
Santi,
Potter.
Oh, yeah, Monica Potter.
when
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santi,
That's
you call
true.
me the king of laughing. You should have seen what I was doing, what me, Kate, and some of the others were doing last night on
The
Top
gold
Show.
Yeah.
I'm innocent. I wasn't there.
I think it's the gun smoke.
Those bloody balls.
Nice.
We were playing golf it last night, Don. So I wish you were on it, but you had
wish
your
I could,
live stream.
but
so
I have my live stream. Yeah,
Yeah,
where I finally completed Spider-Man 2. So I'm done with that live stream for
That's
now
great.
until they give me some DLC stories. Then I'll go back to it.
if you guys notice, I still got my voice.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was laughing so hard last night, Don. They were all concerned saying, is Nick going to have a voice by the end of this for Fear Fans tonight?
It does
I
get
think
quite
Jeremy said that.
aggressive.
Oh, man.
It gets very aggressive golf.
It
Yeah.
does.
It was their fault. They started it all.
So what did Jeremy say?
I'm innocent.
Jeremy said his voice would be gone.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that scene was like one of the most shocking of all. Like the one with Shawnee Smith, who plays Amanda, the only survivor of Jigsaw's traps, his death traps that he sets up. And the only part of the scene that I do make fun of though is where she like goes to the body and then pulls up the shirt and there's a question mark on, and I'm just like, oh my god, I should have known. Riddler was behind it all.
I still remember watching that scene. And here's the thing. My first time ever seeing this was my first time ever seeing I was only like 11 or 12 at the time. And at that time I wasn't as big into gore as I am now, but when that scene came out, I'm thinking, oh geez, I know exactly what's coming. And it was just kind of a weird experience as I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I was 12 when this movie came out, and I saw it. I was like shocked by by the violence and also by the twists that it had. I mean, this movie really did have a good story. It did.
It does. And ironically, at the time when I first saw it, it was actually right around the time when Saw 2 was coming out, and I still remember because I was at a sleepover. My mom saying, "No, you cannot watch this movie. You can't." And unfortunately, we did anyway, even though I was kind of nervous because my friend I had at the time was insisting. And when I got home the next day, my mom was like, "You watched it, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yes, I did," but it wasn't my choice. It's like, fine.
No, I'm not. Yeah, but well, Nick, you don't just you never tell your parents what you're seeing. I mean, that's the key to being able to watch scary movies when you're a kid. I mean, that's how I was able to get away with seeing this when I was 10.
I was only 12. I didn't know what to think.
Yeah, my sister Kristen rented this from Blockbuster when she was so let's see, I was 10, so she was 15 at the time. Had a sleepover with her friends. Decided to she just picked any random horror film because she doesn't know horror as much as I do. But
that's Tom's movie.
Yep. And so yeah, the day before they were supposed to return it, I snuck it and watched the whole thing.
Damn, you are good.
Your generation is so protected.
6 years
You
a
know,
long time ago.
when I grew up watching movies and stuff when I was a kid, my dad was kind of like, "Hey, come on, you got to watch this movie with me. You know, the scary ones. You know,
Come on."
At the time, like when Halloween was brand new or Friday the 13th was brand new. Actually, he was trying to get me to pack up the van so we could go to Camp Crystal Lake because we saw that on Friday the 13th. That was his old idea. He was like, Friday the 13th, we're going to watch this movie. And he's like, pack up the van. We're going to Camp Crystal Lake for the weekend. And I says, cool, let's go. I packed it up. I got so far packing it all up. And he's like, oh, no, I was just seeing how far you go. I said, well, if you're going to see how far you go, why don't you get in the van and start it and let's go.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
you
so,
know, I really wish
where we were, it was like a 3.5 hour drive too. So
see, I wish I had parents like that that would have wanted to see movies.
My dad reinforced stuff like that. So when I had kids, all 3 of my kids will watch the horror movies. No problem. They don't get nightmares. They don't get scared. They have none of that. You know, they might have a problem because, you know, they've got the fears like Nick there with like cockroaches or, you know.
Yep. And so, yeah, Jill, here, I wanted to ask you, Jill, when did you first see Saw? Did you see it when it first came out?
Oh, yeah.
You saw it when it first came out. Really?
Oh yeah. Like, of course. Well, back then in like the early 2000s, I worked for the Edwards Theater for a few years, and then like everybody I knew worked there still when I wasn't working there anymore. So going to movies was just like a normal part of living. It's like as soon as it opens or a preview for the employees, you know, we were always watching free movies. So I probably saw it for free.
Yes, see Saw. Yeah, that's what they said in the trailers. I remember that trailer from 20 years ago.
Kate gave me a joke involving Saw last night during the broadcast.
I'll be right back.
Here, Billy wanted us to look at this. Before Saw. Oh,
yeah, it was just
wow.
Seesaw. You know, I'm surprised there's not a movie that's just called just Seesaw. Actually,
I don't know. This Saw was just a title that just Saw was. Okay. All right.
As I still have my voice, Jeremy. I just said that.
Can we show Jeremy who he looks like just as he's here?
Yeah, Dad, show the picture.
Just really quickly, just like one second.
Oh, there.
Jeremy, you look like this guy.
We found your twin, Jeremy.
We found your famous doppelganger. Hang on one second. Let me put it up. Let me put it up on the screen.
Just one of
Jeremy's
many.
doppelganger. There he is. That's you.
That's you.
That's you.
That's you.
Thanks, Don.
Yep.
I love to see what Jeremy says.
I think it's very likely that they're referring to the 2 hacksaws that were given to Adam and Lawrence because when they were chained inside that bathroom, then they came to a realization he doesn't want us to cut through our chains. He wants us to cut through our feet.
Me, that ain't me.
Or in another dimension, that's Jeremy.
Yep. In another dimension, you're Matt Dillon's brother, Kevin Dillon.
Related.
Just lost Nikki here. I'm sure she has. She's been having connection problems.
All kinds of. And Saw just came to Lee Wennell like just randomly when he was like writing down his diary. That just came to mind when he decided to make this movie. When he just made the short film, he just came to him. And then after this, they decided they needed to expand on it. They like show like a much deeper story, and they managed to do that. And I just love the twist of the whole thing at the end. I really hate talking about it because I know that some of you haven't seen it yet. I know a few of you, not saying who, but yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
There's so many?
Yeah, there's going to be 11 now. There's an 11th one on the way, which I found out is going to be
crazy.
Yeah, I just found out that Saw 11 is going to be delayed a year.
And then they have the spin-off film, like Spiral.
Spiral was the ninth one. Was the ninth film.
Okay.
They're actually concerned about making. I don't know if you heard a television series now for Spiral.
Yeah, they thought it worked for. They thought it worked for Chucky. So
I wonder, somebody had to have that. The way they had that idea and the way this film is set up, it kind of reminded me, and I've only done one, but it reminded me of those escape rooms.
Yeah.
With a very wicked, demented, sick twist to it.
Yeah, kill this person for the key.
Yeah. There actually is, and I talked about this on Lois's show. You guys might find this hard to believe, but there actually is kind of like a real kind of haunted house that deals with like literally torture, basically. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the McCamey Manor. You ever heard of that before?
No.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read this real quick because it's short. McCamey Manor is an American haunted house attraction in which survival horror style events are enacted. It is considered a pioneer of extreme haunted attractions. Now, I don't know if this was inspired from Saw. This is just what I'm reading from Wikipedia. Founded in San Diego by Russ McCarney, it was originally located on his property until it was moved to Tennessee in 2017. The house operates year-round, offering visitors tours that can last up to 8 hours. To participate, guests must sign a liability waiver that includes the inability to leave the experience without the staff's permission and being subjected, I'm not going to read everything, being subjected to physical forms of physical and psychological torture and having bones broken, teeth removed without anesthesia, and being drugged.
Oh, Jesus.
I have heard of that.
Yeah, McCamey Manor has attracted significant controversy, criticism, and media scrutiny. And it says it permits just a handful of patrons each weekend. There is no conventional entrance fee. Instead, McCamey strangely accepts dog food for his pet's dogs. At the Tennessee location, guests must be at least 21 years of age or 18 to 20 years with parental consent. They say that, as it says, tours last from 8 to 10 hours, but no guest has made it all the way through.
Wow.
That's terrible.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
How is that legal?
Well, let me see here. I mean, they say, because I'm just scrolling really through it, because again, I'm not going to read exactly everything. A volunteer guy testified that the 40-page waiver signed by participants listed. No, that's not it.
What's that?
Former participant Laura Heard's Brotherton on a visit to the manor in 2016. She repeatedly used her safe word for several minutes before employees stopped torturing her. She was later treated at a hospital for extensive injuries, but it doesn't say.
Damn.
Oh, wait. This is the latest thing they said here. On Halloween of last year, the Tennessee Attorney General reporter Jonathan Scrimetti notified McCamey Manor that it was under investigation over concerns about its business practices and whether they might violate the state's consumer protection laws. Specific concerns include the allegations that withdrawn consent is not honored, lack of access to the waiver, and the inability for contestants to win the purported prize money. That's the thing, too. This is also one of these classic examples in which there's a 10-hour experience called Death for a Prize of $20,000 for successful completion. McCarney deducts, however, $500 from the prize for every failed challenge or use of profanity.
Man.
Yeah. Sounds like a carny game, a rigged carny game, where it's like impossible for you to get the prizes that are worth, a fortune. You go to them carnivals and you got the boombox up there, back in the 80s, and all you got to do is this, but it's impossible to do this because the games are all rigged. I know that. I used to be a carny.
Right.
Back in the 80s. So most of those games you play are rigged.
Yeah, I mean, I even says here, like you guys just asked, journalist Tara West has reported that in the communities where the tour is staged, residents question how it remains legal, even with waivers.
That doesn't sound. They should shut it down.
They really should. This is probably as close as you can get to like a real Saw experience, basically.
Man. Yeah. I mean, and what was I going to say?
You just wonder what the world's coming to. somebody that would actually set up something like that for real, and then the people that would actually subject themselves to going through this type of torture.
No, really.
20,000, right?
I mean, it makes you wonder what the world is coming to.
Yeah.
When somebody's making money off, and this guy's making money off.
They're making
How they allow that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Nick. We were just talking before about how Lee Wennell and James Wan, like after this, they would have moved on to work on all kinds of horror films. Like most notable was the Insidious franchise.
Yep, Insidious.
Yes, Insidious. And let's see, what else did we had Lee Wannell also wrote another movie that I remember, Dead Silence. Remember that one? That
Dead Silence, yeah.
Yes. There was also that zombie movie, Cooties. Oh, and also one of his latest works is the 2020 remake of The Invisible Man.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was in it. Or worked on it.
Worked on it, yes, he did. Yeah, he worked on that. And I got to say, like, the Men of Success Land, like, this, Saw is definitely that franchise is definitely his most successful work. I mean, just the first movie alone made over 100 million worldwide, and it only had a budget of just about around 1 million. And also, yes, that's true. And James Wan also directed Aquaman. That's right.
Lee Wannell actually said in an interview, because when it came to the devices that are used in most of the Saw movies,
yes,
it's kind of ironic, like what I just brought up about this manner. He said he was so fascinated by the devices that were used in Saw. He said at one point that one day he just went on Google search and just typed in like Spanish Inquisition torture devices, like to get some ideas of where this stuff came. And all he said was the stuff that comes up, you haven't even touched of what humans have done to themselves or each other.
Let's see. Oh, first Aquaman is season of fear. Oh, I see. Yeah.
He could have got inspiration from Vlad the Impaler as well.
Yeah.
In his castle in Romania.
I mean, Vlad the Impaler also inspired Dracula. So, yeah.
Kate, I'm just going to throw this out. If you ever want to do an episode of your show with Vlad the Impaler, I know one guy who could tell you about it for hours. This guy named Tim Kohler. Jeremy would know. Tim Kohler is the Vlad the Impaler guy.
I'd have to listen to that one.
Yeah,
I've always been fascinated with Dracula and vampires. It's like my thing.
You'll love what Tim says.
And how a guy could sit there and impale so many people, and then you sit there among all these people impaled on these long, whatever they were called, and sit there and eat his dinner and drink his wine or blood, whatever he did. I mean, that was one sick puppy.
Yeah.
Well, what Tim will tell you, you might actually find some surprising things about that. Because, again, Tim really has done his studies on Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah. And let's see. Oh, hey, I wanted to say, like, there's other brutal traps that were featured in just the first movie alone of Saw. Like, there was another one where they were investigating, like, there were cops who were like investigating each crime scene of Jigsaw. It shows that in some flashbacks. Yeah. Where like a second victim after that razor wire one, there was a man who was like feigning some kind of an illness, and so Jigsaw trapped him inside this room where he had to like read the combination to a safe, which inside the safe there was a cure to a slow acting poison that was in his system, and he had to like read the combination of the safe written on the wall with a lighter. He had to use a lighter to find.
No, there was a candle. I thought.
Or not a lighter. Sorry, candle. All over. There were like numbers, like millions of numbers written all over the walls, and so he has to read which one, try to figure out the combination, and also, and on top of that, he was covered in this flammable substance. So
I think the whole floor and room was covered in it. That's the way it looked to me.
Yeah,
because even the safe looked like it was covered in something.
Yes,
it was like broken glass. I think
there was broken glass on the floor too. So
yeah, that too.
And on top of that, the flammable substance on his body. He had to be careful with that candle, which he wasn't in the end. So, yeah, he ended up burning himself to death because that's the thing. Jigsaw doesn't directly kill his victims. He just makes them
kill themselves
to make them off themselves. Yes, that's right.
That's one sick. I mean,
he is.
That you kind of wonder if that was inspired off of some serial killer. You know, because there are a lot of sick minds out there that done a lot of sick shit, and I'm sure we haven't heard it all yet.
Well, and that's what I was saying before with what Lee Randall looked up. Because you know what? I'll be honest. I one time looked it up myself, like devices, and what I saw, it's beyond even words. It just goes to show that throughout history, man has been using different types of techniques to kill one another.
Or it's used as torture to get information.
Yes,
right.
That's true.
You know,
yes.
and there were people that were deemed as experts in torturing people.
Yep, that's right.
You know, in the military, abroad, it doesn't matter if it was United States or overseas. You know, those military back in the day, they had people that were experts in torture,
like waterboarding.
And some of the things they did was just undescribable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And Billy was pointing out that Dina Meyer, she was in this. She played one of the detectives that was investigating the Jigsaw's murders. And Dina Meyer, she's been in a lot of works, but one of the movies that I loved her most in was Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I like that one.
Just real quick, H.H. Holmes. Chris brought up another one. That's one of our most.
Yep.
That's one of Kate. If you didn't know, that's one of our most notorious serial killers of Chicago.
It is. That's right. And
unsolved.
Yeah.
And
wasn't that unsolved? Like they don't.
He was captured. He was executed.
He was caught.
Yeah, he fled to Pennsylvania, and that's eventually where he was caught, and he was executed by the state, and I believe it was in 1894.
Well, I got so much of this serial killer knowledge in my brain, it takes a while to recall everything.
It was Jack the Ripper they never found, but they think it was multiple people, not just one person
it could have been
did it.
Yeah, it could have been.
H.H. Holmes was believed to have been Jack the Ripper, like supposedly he fled the UK and came to Chicago to resume his murders.
One of the most disturbing unsolved crimes in like recent decades was well, I don't know if it was recent. It was back in the 80s, where there were reports of Tylenol being tampered with. Had like cyanide put into them, into the pills, and you know what's the terrifying part of that is? The most terrifying part of that, to this day, they still don't know who did it.
And it originated, didn't it originate out of Chicago? That Chicago area?
Yeah, it did.
It did. That's one of.
Because I remember that. I remember that because I was like having to check all the because they'd give out like lot numbers or something, which was like a serial number or something on the bottles or the lot. And I had to check all the Tylenol and stuff that I had because back then I was in so much pain when that was happening. I was popping Tylenol like it was candy.
Man.
You know, the other thing too, I'll even say one quick thing about H.H. Holmes, and this is something I'm sure a lot of you guys wouldn't know. Obviously, Jeff Mudgett, the great grandson of H.H. Holmes, we had him at one of our Paracons a few years ago. He did a presentation. I don't know if you guys remember, there was that History Channel miniseries that he did. They found his grave, which was unmarked out in Pennsylvania, and they exhumed it. And when they found it, there was some remains of his skeleton left, including his skull. But here's the craziest part. When they examined the remaining part of the skull, which was just the jaw, because obviously it was over 120 years old, they found something that they were not expecting. His brain was still intact after almost 125 years.
How the hell is that possible?
How does that happen?
I don't know, but it was almost like as if the remaining portion of his skull acted like a time capsule, and his skull was still, his skull had, rotted away, but his brain was still intact.
Yeah. Let's see.
Wow.
Creepy.
Yeah, it really is.
Creepy.
I wanted to mention like the cast again because there's another big actor who was in Saw, and that's Danny Glover. He plays
One of my favorite.
Yes. So Danny Glover, he plays Detective Tapp, who is like investigating the Jigsaw murders along with his partner, like
relentlessly, such a good cop,
relentlessly pursuing him, and suspects that it was that Lawrence had an involvement with it, but and even though he was in that scene where we interviewed Amanda. That's one of my favorite scenes. But yeah, Danny Glover, he's known for playing cops in all sorts of different movies. Like most
God hates me.
Yep. Most notable is when he played
me.
Yeah. Most notable is when he played Lieutenant or Sergeant Murtaugh in the Lethal Weapon movie.
I was trying to think of the name. All I could think of was Riggs.
Yeah, he played Murtaugh in the Lethal Weapon franchise, and then let's see, he also played Lieutenant Harrigan in Predator 2.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh yeah, he also played a corrupt police lieutenant McPhee in the Harrison Ford film Witness.
He also was in he wasn't a copper this time. He was a coach, actually. It's kind of funny that he went from one genre to another. Was in back in the mid 90s. He was in one of the live action Disney films, Angels in the Outfield. It's funny to think.
Yeah, but
he was in this innocent film, and then like a decade later, he's in this gruesome horror story with Saw. It's like
it just goes to show you he's one of those actors that's very versatile.
He does everything.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed a lot of his work because he did that one called what was it, Gone Fishing with Pesci.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it Joe Pesci and him and Gone Fishing? That was funny as hell.
And in Lethal Weapon 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, I know. That's right. He was in those too.
Yes. And let's see. Oh yeah, like
also escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, and I just think back to that scene where his character Detective Tapp and the partner Detective Singh, where they investigate the one they track down Jigsaw, like have him cornered, but there's like a victim that they have to save from having like this power drill going into the guy's head. So they disable it, but then Jigsaw ends up cutting like Detective Tapp's throat, not killing him. He's still alive, but his partner Singh ends up going after him. And I'm just thinking, oh, if only Mel Gibson were there, he would have taken Jigsaw down like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she said. Yeah, she actually said that too in the private chat. It's because of the weather over there, so that's why she's been having issues with the connection.
Oh, man.
Is it storming over there, Nikki? Or I think she's having issues.
Yeah, we've got a really bad storm that's been hitting us the past few days, and I think it's really bad.
Okay.
So I'm alive and I'm watching, but yeah, I may not be as talkative as normal because
Yep. And so what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like that whole setting that they have inside that rundown industrial like bathroom, that wasn't gonna be their original idea. Originally, they were gonna want to have that set up like in an elevator, like have a whole lot of it take place in a room, so they would be able to do very well with the budget that they have because they only had $1 million to work with. But it's crazy how they did that because they came up with the original idea of it being in an elevator because there was another movie very similar released years later that M. Night Shyamalan worked on called Devil.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one. I saw that one in theaters.
Yeah, I saw that when I was in college. And let's see. Yeah, like, and also one of the most memorable things about Saw is the puppet Billy.
That's like the symbol of Jigsaw. You have to remember. I mean, that's been quite a popular icon in horror films, practically.
He is. Yeah, the puppet that he uses inside the when he gives like tape messages to his victims. Yeah, because Jigsaw always gives a message to his victims about giving instructions and also why they're there, why they're in his trap. Because he always does it through either a tape or inside of an audio cassette.
Well, when I saw that puppet come out on the bicycle, the little tricycle or whatever you want to call it, the kid's bike. First thing that popped into my mind was the Puppet Master franchise.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Yeah, I think James Wan actually ended up creating Billy the puppet. He was like making it out of like a paper mache and also with one. And also with ping pong. So cool. Yeah, with and for the eyes he did ping pong balls and like drew the irises in them.
Wow.
And what's funny, I got to point this out. Even Billy made a cameo appearance in Dead Silence when they were checking out through the abandoned theater and they saw the dolls on the wall. but then right behind him you see Billy there. So, as I would probably put it, it's almost similar to like they do with Disney, where they have like a hidden Mickey. Basically, it's like this was like this type of franchise answer to like their own icon or mascot to make a cameo appearance, and that's what they did with Billy in Dead Silence.
Pretty much, that's right.
Yeah, what I don't get is like some people buy like the plushie or the poster and that, and they just have that in their room, and I'm like, I wouldn't sleep at night. Seriously, like how do people do that? All of these like horror mascots.
Oh, because they're hardcore horror fans. They
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'd just be like, nope.
Actually, let me show you guys something here. I think this might answer your question. Check what I found out. This was actually from Trick or Treat Studios. So I'm going to share the link. Check what they got here. A lot of it's expensive as hell.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
Deluxe prop and sound with motion.
Oh, man.
I've seen him in some of the Halloween stores, though, too.
Oh, man, I love
they
it.
They have an animated version of him for Halloween in some of the Halloween stores that pop up just right around that Halloween time.
I think we might have had a few, not necessarily these things.
But they're awfully expensive.
Oh, yeah, they're like this right here.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, $499. Yeah, so they've got things like that in these stores, but they're like, they just got the one, and you got to divide the display because they got it so it works and all that. So when you walk by it, yeah.
Oh yeah, some of it
there's a video here.
I'm guessing some of that's motion activated.
Yeah, it is. Most of the stuff for Halloween when it comes to this is all motion activated, but it's cool as hell. I want one.
Here, play your bathroom. Here, can you play that again? I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I'll play it again. And the eyes light up.
Love it.
He's so cute.
That is awesome. I love it. But yeah, $500 though. Jeez, that's still too much on the.
I want one.
Oh, come on, I would get one.
Well, if I had more money, I definitely would. But man,
see, where would you put it? Would it just like be chilling on your bed? Like, where are you
good
gonna put it?
Better.
Hey, if it's motion activated, hey, here's the bright side. If it's motion activated, it'll scare away burglars.
Better.
Put it at the door.
I'll just put it right at the door. Yes.
Yeah, that way you don't let visitors stay too long. They see that and they go, see ya. Like, thanks.
I got a perfect spot for it to answer your question, Kate. I got a chair in my room, in my office area, not the chair that I use for my computer, but I got a second chair in my room which faces my bed. So that's a good thought of what he could add to it. So, yeah, not have him on your bed, just have him sitting there staring at you.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, hey, Chris.
I wish I had all that stuff from my video store days.
Good night, Chris.
Hey,
good night,
appreciate you watching, Chris. Good night. Yes.
I want to go back to a comment that Jeremy said, which was actually pretty funny. He's like, all right, Nick, I'm going to need some information now. I'm going to be playing Michael Bolton at full volume nonstop until you tell me the secret behind the classic rubber duck.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
It's referring back to when we were talking about torture devices and like when it was back in history.
Okay. Oh, man. But,
boy.
Yeah, and so...
Okay.
Yeah. So Detective Tap's like partner Singh, like when they were chasing down Jigsaw, Singh ended up getting killed by a rigged shotgun that Jigsaw had prepared. And it's crazy how we learned that Jigsaw, like this whole time I was watching the movie, I'm thinking he has to have some kind of an engineering background in order to create all these different traps, like the reverse bear trap, and in the next film there was that Venus flytrap device. Like all these devices that he's creating, I'm thinking he has to have some kind of an engineering job, like something that he did in his life.
Hunting.
I don't know about hunting, but yeah. I mean, because of the bear traps. Oh no, but I mean, because there's all sorts of different devices that he makes throughout the series. I'm thinking this has become from some sort of a job he had for a living, like an engineer.
Yeah, that's true.
And my suspicions ended up being correct.
I just have one comment to make. You were talking about the doll being opposite you in the bed net, and it just gave me this flashback, right? That there's a car that's in our area, let's say, like in the car parking area, scares me every single time because this guy has a full life-size skeleton in the passenger seat, and
Really?
it's just there all the time. And I'm like, what?
Cool.
Like, why does he have that in his car though? Like, it's not Halloween. He just has that all the time, and it's like it has a hat on it. And
all right, I need to give me one of those.
To get attention while he's driving.
The funniest thing about that is because obviously you guys have seen like my Jack Skellington animatronic so many times.
Right.
While it's basically innocent looking, it can actually look kind of scary. It can actually look kind of scary looking if you're in the dark with it. Because imagine going downstairs, like if you left some, like imagine if you were coming down to the kitchen at night, like if you forgot something or whatever the case is. You walk through that kitchen and you don't even bother turning the lights off. And just by the window, which is a little bit bright because you got the window right there. There's this tall, like this 7 foot tall black figure standing there. It's like, oh, geez. But you know what? That doesn't affect me though because I'm accustomed to it. Jack's going to my buddy.
Yeah, it was just funny because like when I walk past the car, every time my daughter's like, "Oh, skeleton," and I'm like, "What? Like what? Where?" And then I see it and I'm like, "Oh yeah,
That's
like
strange.
it's not real. It's just pretend Halloween."
Maybe it's for carpool.
Yeah, maybe he's like an Uber driver or something. He does it for laughs.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can get the carpool lane.
That is
Carpool
true.
lane.
But yes, Jeremy
They have that down in Illinois.
Jeremy, yeah, it's true. Jeremy has a skeleton that rides with him sometimes in the car. I've seen it for myself. What was that skeleton's name again, Jeremy? What was his name?
Yeah.
He named it, but I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, here, Thomas is saying Kramer was an engineer. Yes, so Jigsaw turns out to be John Kramer, who was a patient that Lawrence was treating at the hospital for a frontal lobe tumor that was inoperable. So this is a man who was dying. And
McCoy.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, McCoy. Okay. So, yeah, Kramer reveals that his motivation behind all these killings and capturing people and trapping them is because he experienced like a lot of people who just don't appreciate life, and yet he's the one who is like very slowly dying, and he wants to put like other people in this situation where they have that and they should help. Where it's like the message is that you should value life no matter what, because he said he doesn't. Yeah, John says that he doesn't appreciate people who are just not very grateful for their blessings, and
Wow,
he's
that's deep.
Yep. And Amanda was such a person. Like she's like the only survivor of his traps, and she was purely targeted because she was a drug addict. Which, if you look closely, when she's being interviewed by police, when it shows like her arms, there's markings on there, so I'm guessing she was like doping up on heroin. So some dangerous stuff. And so after she survived the trap by cutting a guy open and like taking the key out of his stomach and unlocking that reverse bear trap, was the same thing as you saw in the short film. Like the Billy Puppet was just going into the room and saying, "Some people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you, not anymore." Yeah. So, yeah, John Kramer's motive in this was some pretty deep stuff.
And yet,
well, being that close to death and dying, it'll change a person. It really does.
It's basically the ultimate survival of the fittest.
It is.
Right. I mean, look at me. I'm a perfect example of it. Surviving death.
Yes.
Nikki just said she's going to try to join on her, I don't know what mob is there.
I've done Death's Door more times than I count, and I came out on top every time.
She's going to try a different way to get on.
Okay. Hopefully she'll be able to join us. Jill, what was like, let me ask you guys this. What scene in this stood out to you the most? I want to ask that to each one of you. Let's see.
Definitely
Jill.
The bear trap scene was pretty gruesome. So I probably like that one. That scene.
Yeah. That was among the most gruesome moments of the entire film. And yeah, it's just crazy how they managed to do all of this, build up all this tension, everything here. And what, Nick, you okay?
Yeah, I was trying to look for something and the sound just showed up. It scared the hell out of me. Too bad Chris wasn't watching. He would have gotten a kick out of it.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't buy the puppet, but I'd buy that hat or like that trap to wear on my head for Halloween, probably.
Oh.
Like, you know, like I don't think I want the puppet in my house, but I think I'd want that.
I want the puppet.
It was at 105.30 that occurred. Let me see here. Santi here says, in my opinion, Nick would make a good Jigsaw for Halloween. He would just have to paint his face white and use red face paint. Well, maybe.
But his eyes are red, so he's supposed to paint his eyes red?
No, I couldn't do that because I don't wear contact. I would have to wear contact lenses, and I don't wear those.
Yeah,
I have to wear glasses that glow or something.
Or glasses.
Yeah, probably.
I have never worn contacts before in my life.
Not comfortable.
I couldn't do it.
You'd have to get creative for that, Nick.
What?
You'd have to get really creative for that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And I just one thing that I found one thing I was always confused by in this film. So they're like Lawrence and Adam are in that bathroom for over 7 hours, and there was been a dead body in there who apparently shot himself that whole time. That why he was lying there. But then when all is revealed, when Zepp, the orderly, who was like, what do you think he's Jigsaw? It turns out he was a pawn in this whole thing. He was playing his part in the game because there was a slow acting poison in his system, which motivated him to try to do all the things that he did. But then the body, after Lawrence had cut off his foot to sever it to get himself out of that chain, was saying he was going for help, trying to go and get help for his family. But then the dead body in there that was in the room the whole time was not dead at all. It rises up, removes this makeup, and it turns out it was Kramer. He was Jigsaw. He was inside that room the whole time.
That was the part that got me.
Yeah,
I really did.
In the flashback where it showed they had him in the hospital being treated and for the tumor and or not being treated, but examined by the doctors. And then when they said it at each crime scene, there was a peephole showing that Jigsaw just likes having a front row seat to his games, and that's exactly what he did in that bathroom. He wanted to witness the whole thing. But the question is, how did he just pretend to be a dead body that whole time?
Slept,
but he would have to be breathing for that, and they would have noticed.
Meditation. He put himself in some kind of meditation state, probably was able to control his breathing just right to slow it down to make it almost dead, like he was almost dead, so that he can continue to hear everything that was going on.
Also, can't you take something like in Romeo and
I was going to say maybe some type of drug, maybe
like
a knockout drug.
Yeah. That slows your heart right down.
But one of the safest things is meditation. I've watched documentaries of some of these. I can't think where they're monks.
The monks.
Buddhist monks or something in Budapest or someplace like that, and then they do this meditation. They slow down their heart rate. They slow down their breathing, and they believe that and what they drink out of this natural spring that's not too far away, which they believe is like the fountain of youth. But science has proved that a lot of those monks are well over 100 years old.
Wow.
Because of the way they do things. They eat pure. They drink this water that has some kind of property because the waterfall is comes over a lot of granite and stuff like that, and quartz and something else, and it's got a lot of properties in it. Mm-hmm. And so they're drinking that, plus they sit there and these guys meditate forever, and they slow down their heart rate and their breathing, but at the same time they're also rewiring their brain, because everybody's got an internal clock. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. On the outside, you may appear to be a certain age, but you're chronologically a different age according to that clock on the inside. Well, these Buddhist monks, have found a way to reverse this clock through meditation.
Right.
And somebody else took that a step further, and it was a whole thing that I was watching about.
When can we move there? I'm sold.
Yeah, I'd just like to learn some of the practices that they do. Reverse that clock. Yeah. And I mean, the guy actually reversed the clock, and the gray that he had in his beard and his hair vanished. Not only was he reversing the clock, not only
witchcraft.
No, it has everything to do with meditation. It had a lot to do with meditation and learning. You only use like 10% of the brain, so you got to unlock the rest of that. And they were like rewiring themselves. But not only when they reversed the clock, it also healed the body. You know, the guy lost part of like something, and it grew back. It was like a thyroid or something, and it's like baffled medical science because it grew back after like 10 years.
This is where we learned that Joe was actually 648 years old.
You know,
I keep telling people I'm going to live forever. I'm a vampire.
I knew you were going to say that, Joe.
Thank you.
And you said like people only use 10% of the brain, and sometimes I feel like my brain ranges between 10 to 20%. Yeah. So.
Well, I had a girlfriend once that told me that if I ever learned to unlock the rest of it, I'd be dangerous.
I probably use only about 4%.
I don't know how much I use.
Maybe that's why I remember so much about movies, because it's 20% of my brain. I figured it out.
But then again,
figured it out. Oh man, but yeah. So, well, let's see. What else about that ending? I know some people that don't use. Oh,
0.0001% of their brains.
That's called stupidity. And even duct tape can't fix that.
They're just amoebas.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh man. So before Kit went on this, before we started the show, I just out of curiosity, because I never did this before, I looked at Rotten Tomatoes score for Saw, and I was shocked to learn what it was, and it was just 50%, and I'm just like, really? I was expecting like somewhere like around like 80%, and like at the very least, or higher. But yeah, this is one of those instances where I strongly disagree with Rotten Tomatoes. You know, because I feel like, nope, Rotten Tomatoes, you're wrong. It's definitely, this movie deserves much more than just 50%. I consider this to be one of the best horror crime thrillers of the time.
Hey, you know, I just watched it, and I haven't been in the horror game for a long time, but my view on Hollywood's always been the same. You know, they have no imagination, and that started in the late 90s. But this movie, when they created this movie, it goes to show there are some people out there that have one hell of imagination, because that movie, yeah, you're right, Don, that movie deserves more than 50%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, sometimes
it made me cringe a couple of times, and that's not easy to do.
No. It's like,
you know, I had a hard time watching that guy saw his ankle off, his foot.
Yeah.
At the ankle. And it's like he's holding on to the thing with his mouth so that he's not screaming out so loud, and trying to keep the tension so that he don't bleed out. And it's like, and the blade, and then you think about it, the blade kind of looked rusty and old.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh my God. You know, it was that scene, and then the one where the woman had the thing on her face that survived. And she had to start cutting the dude, and found out he was still alive. Why he's still alive. And like, oh, shit, man, that was making me cringe again.
Yeah, because so the guy that she had to cut open was drugged into paralysis. He couldn't he couldn't move, and he couldn't feel anything.
And he couldn't talk.
Yeah, exactly.
I still remember when you just brought up, Joe, about the leg cutting scene, it's so weird. I still remember this almost 20 years later, because again, I was at a sleepover. We were actually having dinner while that happened, while we were watching it. But here's the funny part, because again, I wasn't into gore yet. I loved horror, I just didn't like the splatter stuff. That scene was playing literally behind my back, so I didn't actually watch what was going on. But I hear that, all that disgust, and I'm doing this while I'm eating, and so I had to literally imagine what was going on before I was actually able to watch it a few years later.
Right.
Well, hence the title Saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, I mean, it's just,
and I wanted to respond to Jeremy's comment here. Jeremy said, Saw was definitely innovative. I'll give it that, but I'm not a fan. The overuse of gore just doesn't appeal to me. Well, Jeremy, I mean, this film relied on the whole blood mystery. I feel like there was some graphic content, but as the series went on, they started to rely much more on gore, on the blood and gore factor, in order to create the more shock value for audiences. And I feel like they focused a little bit less on story and more on the bloody content as the series went on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, that was basically like those type of movies answer
so it keeps up with my theory about sequels. You can only take them so far, and then you either if you're going to try do something different or deviate from the original way it's made to something new, then you either give up or you just don't do it, or whatever. Just
yeah. Well, to be fair, Saw 2 and 3, I feel like the second and third film did a good job in expanding on the story, on the background. There were a few good twists in that as well, but after that, I feel like it was going downhill from there.
Don, just before we continue, Kate, I just saw your message.
Yeah, sorry guys, I have to go now. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, no worries.
See you next time. Bye, everyone.
All right, take care, Kate. Have a good night.
Yes.
Bye.
See you, Kate.
And that's the thing too. I wanted to also bring up too, when it came to when you just mentioned about the splatter genre involved, or for these other movies that came out after Saw and the sequels. Yes. It was practically almost like these movies answer to have all these violent films, and in response to all these PG-13 horror films that were coming out at about that same time.
Right. And yeah, then the first film I felt like is where they did the best job as far as the characters go, because like Lawrence, I especially liked how Lawrence's deductive reasoning throughout their whole situation, like when they were inside that bathroom. He looked around the room and he said, "Hey, that clock." He for example, he looked around and he said, "Hey, that clock, it's brand new. So obviously whoever put us in here wants us to know the time." So and then they find all these different items like the tape player, and they try to piece everything together. They were like these different clues. Yeah, so I just love that about him.
I think the whole thing that made them get so creative is the budget.
Right. Yes.
The budget forced them to get creative. And think about it. They probably had a fixed budget for 2 and then 3 as well. And then by the time they came out with 4, they probably had, unlimited funds.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The first movie was made with just $1 million. So they had to be careful with what they were doing with it. So
and
limited locations,
And not just that. They had to get really creative when it came to, making the devices and everything and trying to stay within that budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because of the success of Saw, which made the first film made well over $100 million. So, and because of that, the Lionsgate decided, you know what, this is going to end up being something profitable. So we're going to give it sequels. So, yeah, they greenlit sequels and gave them pretty much the budget that they needed to really step it up as they saw fit.
Yeah, see, sometimes it's not good. I remember back in the day when what was it? Friday the 13th came out.
Right.
And it was such a big success. And if I'm not mistaken, right from there, shortly after it was a big success at the box office and everything, got that cult following.
Right.
They got contracted to make 13 more movies right then and there, or up to 13 movies.
Yeah.
And they've gone beyond that now.
Nikki's got to go too. Her phone's about to die. So.
Oh well, hey, it was great having you, Nikki.
Bye, Nikki.
Nice to see you later. Take care,
Take
guys.
care, Nikki.
Bye. You too.
Oh, we haven't gotten. I don't think the rest of you answered the question. Which scene stood out for you the most? I mean, Jill, you already answered. What about you, Joe?
Well, I guess I think I answered. I mean, I'm tossed between where she had to cut the key out of the guy with the mask on her face, the reverse bear trap, and the dude sawing his foot off.
Oh man!
I mean, those were the two most disturbing parts that actually made me go, like kind of like do that cringe. I actually had that cringing moment those two times.
Yeah, and the twist ending, the big reveal at the end, where the dead body was Jigsaw the whole time. He was watching everything, and then like Adam tried to take Zepp's gun and shoot him, but then like Jigsaw just shocked him because. That's the thing we didn't mention. The shackle that was around each one of their foot was wired. Yeah. So when press a button, he gets electrocuted. So that stops him from shooting him. He came that close to killing Jigsaw. That close. And then we're like, wait, we can't kill him, otherwise we won't have sequels. And then and then he ends it with, and Jigsaw ends it by saying, "Some people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you, not anymore." And then closes the door, shuts out the light, and then closes that steel door on Adam. Closes that steel door on Adam and says, "Game over." And then Adam is just screaming out in terror, in the dark. He's just basically left in there to die.
Yep.
Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, Tom.
Imprisoned him.
Yep. Yeah, and that's got to be the worst of the nightmares to that, because he doesn't have the gun left, because that one gun only had the one bullet, because it was like Russian roulette type thing,
Pretty much.
It was empty when he opened up, and so he's still chained to the wall. Saw was broken.
And he has no more cigarettes.
That blood probably really wasn't poison. Considering who was laying there, that blood probably wasn't really poisoned. So, he has no way to really off himself now to make it quick.
Right.
That's what I mean. He lost all his chances of escape.
And, it takes a long time to die of starvation and dehydration.
Yeah.
I mean, Jigsaw I'm pretty sure Jigsaw wanted him dead anyway, because he said to him, the key to that chain, in the end, when Jigsaw rose up, he told him the key to that chain is in the bathtub. And then it cuts back to the very beginning, showing that little light that was in the water.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was the whole time. I rewound the film at the beginning, trying to see what that light was the whole time. And then it's oh, wow, they actually disclosed that to me at the end.
Yeah, there was there went his easiest chance of escape without injuring himself.
Pretty much. Yeah, man. But so basically, Adam was just screwed from the start. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted him dead from the get-go. And he was and he was just ended up being left the room to rot, and then and then when you just see what happens in the next film, it's wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Saw 2 is where they really stepped it up. I mean, I liked it's I'm not sure. I don't the characters in there were not as compelling, even though the cop in there was played by Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
you know what he's doing. You know what he's doing now, right? Donnie Wahlberg. Have you heard what he's involved in now?
I didn't look him up recently. Why?
He is not a movie, but he's hosting he's been hosting it now for the last few years. He's been hosting the show Very Scary People.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's been hosting a show that I watch frequently.
Yep.
I think you probably would like that show, Don, because it details like the most notorious serial killers. And I'm going to be honest with
Some
you
of
guys.
it goes in 2 parts too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. There's like 2 parts. I haven't really watched most of them. I did watch at least one of them involving the I don't remember. It was like the ice cream killer or something like that, or Iceman. I think that's what
The Iceman.
That's who it was. Yeah, my dad and I watched it. And thought,
Most
wow,
notorious mafia hitman ever.
yeah, I was like, I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is actually really good and kind of creepy at the same time. And that actually is now giving me an idea because I'm actually hoping sometime soon, maybe even start setting up a few watch parties to watch episodes.
I've watched most of those so far.
Yeah, see, Jill's on board already.
I already watched the show, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm on board. I mean, I'm a big fan of that show, and the guy Donnie Wahlberg does an awesome
He
job.
does great. I think Don, if you haven't watched,
I am very impressed by that show.
I
I'll
think
have to
you'd
check
like
it out.
I'm actually checking right now, just out of curiosity, if they're going to make another season. Because so far, Don, if you didn't know, so far 5 seasons have been made. They haven't obviously it hasn't featured all the serial killers, but I'm checking right now. There's a season 6,
and it's not just serial killers because they did something.
Yeah, there is.
Isn't there another show? I'm not sure if he does that or if it's some other guy. How It Really Happened.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh yeah,
that's another one that I've watched too.
They've
I
even
don't know if it was on that show or the other one, but they did that like the Waco.
That's the Waco shooting. Yeah, they even did. There was actually one episode, in fact, of very scary people. I'd love to check out. It's not surprising. Once I say it's what it is, it obviously immediately grabbed my attention. They did a 2-parter episode of Ronald DeFeo Jr. of the Amityville Horror Killings.
That was a very good episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Well, guys, we gotta wrap this up. Yeah. Hey, it's already 10. The next show's got to go on.
Yep.
So, I don't know if he's going, but yeah, I know we still got to wrap up. Nonetheless,
wrap it up.
Yep. So, I think Billy's rewinding parts of the show to where you showed us all that merchandise of the John Kramer mask.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't a John Kramer mask. It was just the Billy doll.
Well, I saw it. No. I saw it listed there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was listed there with the other masks.
I guess I must have missed it because I didn't even.
There was a mask there.
Yeah, it's in the bottom.
When you scroll down on that list.
So,
but yeah, the puppet is $500.
Yeah, it's expensive. I'm surprised when I was working at Spirit Halloween. I'm really surprised that we never sold them. That's really surprising.
Yeah, but
they had them at the Halloween Express stores here.
Yeah. So, yeah, Saw to this day, it's just as terrifying and compelling now as it was 20 years ago when it was released in theaters. And I recommend this to those who enjoy a good horror film, those who enjoy a good crime flick. Yeah, it's good. And I guess
thriller.
It's a suspenseful thriller. Yes. And here's one movie that I do recommend for you. That I recommend for you and for you, Joe. Hey, hang on. Open new tab. Hang on one second.
Well, you're looking at that.
Another movie with Shawnee Smith. The 1988 remake of The Blob. Yep. This is actually good as far as remakes go. Yeah, because they do an amazing job with the special effects, especially because like in the original, it's like, let's be honest, the effects in that didn't really age well, but right here they went all out on it, and like the blood and gore in it is just is crazy.
Is that the one with the phone booth?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh yes, they have.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, let me see if I can find that phone booth.
Yeah, that was.
I looked up. I was trying to look for season 6 of Very Scary People, and so far they're not saying anything of it. So I don't know. And I didn't realize that Very Scary People also started off. I guess it's also a podcast too. Yeah, it's a 6. Oh, okay, so what it says here, it's a spinoff. It's a podcast now, and it's a 6-part series this time. And oh my God, this I'm gonna have to hear. In the 6-part series of Very Scary People, this podcast version, host Donnie Wahlberg untangles the dark and complicated story of what happened on a night in 1974 in Amityville, New York, and unearths how these grisly murders sparked an infamous haunted tale. I'm gonna have to look that up now and see that, because that
whole thing about that is the people that bought the house after the Feos ended up being the ones that spawned the whole story.
Yeah,
and the thing is, that was all a scam. But the DeFeo story is the scariest story of the whole Amityville thing.
Yeah, it was a murder.
The books, the movies, everything should have been based on that and what actually happened there. Because the truth about that house is a lot more believable than that book.
I'm actually just going to say this real quick, and then Don, I'll let you. We've actually had a few years ago with the Chicago, one of our Chicago Ghost Cons, we actually had one of the former kids to come out and actually tell what really happened. And if you hear his story, it is his name's Christopher Quarantino. He tells a very different tale than what we're all familiar with Amityville. It kind of blew me away with what I heard from him.
Wow. Oh, here, Billy's asking which one's creepier, Billy the Puppet or Billy the Dummy?
I don't know what the difference is.
From Dead Silence, Billy the.
Oh, Billy the. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say Billy from Saw.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, here Billy's right about this. The director of The Blob also did The Mask and The Scorpion King, and he also directed Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Yes, Chuck Russell.
Nice.
Oh yes. So, yeah, he's done some good work in the past. All right, so we got to wrap this up. But Saw.
Greg's coming on.
But Saw, amazing film. It's even though it is pretty disturbing, it's a very compelling horror thriller. So highly recommend it to everyone out there. And be sure to tune in next week as we cover The Conjuring 2. Can't wait for that. Yes. So you guys, I put out a poll for which film we should cover next week, and almost 90% of the audience has been wanting us to cover The Conjuring 2. So that, along with let's see, then Child's Play will be next.
I got something I'd like to share, by the way, when it comes to.
No, that's when I wish I still had my Chucky doll.
I got something I'd like to share for next week's show involving the real haunting. I think you might find. I actually had it featured in my slideshow, so it might be something you may want to see, just to throw some truth into what really happened at Enfield. Jill, I think you saw it. Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah,
it's creepy as hell. Like what you saw. I mean, I'll just put it this way: the sequel to The Conjuring, it's creepy, but when you see like real stuff involved, it's even far more, even a little bit disturbing, but it's totally worth checking out.
It is.
So I'll save that for next week.
Oh, here, Billy wants us Billy and several others wanted us to cover Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
That all depends on the poll, like you said, though, right?
Yeah. So Child's Play. I'll create another poll after this. See what they decide. Yeah.
Did you know that they were making a horror movie out of Little Mermaid?
Yes,
I've heard about that.
Yeah, I remember you said that last.
I've been told that. Yes,
it is so ridiculous.
Yep. Another one. I mean, one to ruin kids' childhoods.
They're taking this innocence away from them. It is so.
My daughters watched that when they were little girls. They loved that movie. They had to have Little Mermaid this, Little Mermaid that as they were growing up. I remember because I spent the money. But now this movie's going to come out, and believe me, my oldest is a horror movie fan. She goes and watches this, it's going to just screw her all up, and it's like, oh man,
it's not good.
It's sickening.
Yep. And I just found out they're making another shark movie that's being released Friday. I'm just like,
oh God, it's
what kind of shark
Sci-Fi
movie?
Channel?
It's I just did a reaction video to the trailer, and it's called Something in the Water. Yeah.
Oh jeez, I think I already know where this is going.
And yeah, it's like, okay, here it is. Group of girls go on a boat, go to an island. One of them's bitten by a shark. They go on the boat. They hit some coral reefs. The boat sinks. They're stranded in the water while the girl's bleeding, and there's a tiger shark circling them. You know, that pretty much all the shark cliches that we've seen
It sounds like open water.
a billion times.
I was gonna say, sounds like open water.
Yeah.
I'll just rewatch that.
And
I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We got to wrap this up. So,
all right.
We got to wrap this up now.
Yep. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and hit the like button if you did, share with your friends, and be sure to tune in next week as we cover The Conjuring 2. Cannot wait for that one. A lot of you have been wanting us to cover that for a while, so we're happy to oblige. We're gonna give it to you.
Yes. Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night. See you guys next week. Bye.